else, the excursion would have set them straight about the climate of Piedmont, Virginia. But the offer was not accepted. Lucy had been orphaned by the war, but she came of good family and could claim even a North Carolina governor a few branches down in the family tree. An only child, she had inherited the graceful house of her childhood and the many acres that surrounded it, but very little money. At 15, the orphaned Lucy had gone to live with her godparents in Danville, and with vague affection for the pretty but reticent child, they had given her a home and completed her genteel upbringing. At 17, she knew how to manage a house, how to play the pianoforte to accompany her own singing, and how to comport herself gracefully in good society, even if her acquaintance with formal education had been slight by Todhunter family standards. She had met Philip through mutual friends on one of his visits to Danville. A few months later, he chose that river city in which to establish his new business, perhaps influenced by the presence of the young and lovely Miss Lucy Avery. By the simple expedient of joining the correct church and making substantial contributions to it, Todhunter had persuaded the local gentry to overlook his unfortunate past connection with the Union Army. Ensconced among the right people, he had pursued his acquaintance with young Lucy Avery at formal dinners and garden walks. Her godparents had been taken aback when 18-year-old Lucy announced her engagement to the stern and charmless Major Todhunter, but they told themselves, and those who tactfully inquired, that the war was, after all, over, and that one had to give poor, orphaned Lucy credit for realizing that someone would have to support her. They reasoned that being forced to choose between congeniality and prosperity, Lucy had taken the wiser course. Whether or not this prudence brought her happiness in her 18 months of marriage was a source of considerable speculation in Danville society, but no one really knew. Lucy had been taken ill a few months after the wedding, and so ill again 6 months later that she had been sent to the Montgomery White Sulphur Springs Resort in the shadow of the mountains just east of Christiansburg, Virginia. Fears that the young bride had come down with consumption were curtailed by hush whispers by her godmother. Lucy had lost a baby, each time in the 2nd month of pregnancy. She emerged from each illness more frail and slender than ever, but she kept her beauty, and her spirit was not broken. There were also rumors that Philip Todhunter was a harsh and exacting husband, but no word of complaint was ever heard from his wife. Lucy Avery had never been given to confiding in her acquaintances. "Too bad that Philip is feeling seedy," Richard Norville remarked, helping himself to eggs and fried kidneys. "I hope it wasn't the lateness of the hour that indisposed him. We were quite at time with our brandy before the fire. Re-fighting the war, you know." He smiled at his fellow guests, whose composed expressions did not reveal what they thought of boastful drunkards who gloated over their victories. The Compsons glanced at each other and went back to their porridge without a word. The more they saw and heard of Lucy's husband and his friend, the shorter their intended stay became. "But how are you, Lucy, dear?" asked Mary Compson. It seemed to her that after 2 miscarriages in a year, Lucy ought to be the one to take to her bed. "Oh, I can't complain," said Lucy with a wan smile. Norville, who had failed to interpret this coded feminine message, said, "Haven't caught the grip from your husband, I hope?" "Philip's digestion has been plaguing him lately. That's all," said Lucy with her sweetest smile. "It's all that rich food he will have cook prepare. He's paying for it now, though. I haven't been able to get him to eat a thing since Sunday. I don't suppose that it helped him any to indulge in brandy at all hours with you, Mr. Norville." Lucy smiled to take the sting out of her reproach. "I shall take up a tray to poor Philip directly. A bit of beef tea and..."